We're going to start off with the joint work. We always start from the feet all the way up, and it's basically just about sending a neural message to each part of these areas to wake them up, so to speak. With the toes as well, I'll give you a separate practice for the toes. However, we're going to do two little things just to wake up our toes and our feet, because they do take us places all the time, and then we do have to put them in shoes at times. They just get compressed. So we're going to start with our toes, with just waking them up. We're going to try and lift off our big toe and press the 4 toes down, and then big toes down and 4 toes up. Yeah, and just keeping going with that. So just this awareness if one foot is easier than the other. And if they're not moving, but yours are pretty good, but if they are not moving, then it's a beautiful sign to work on more, because our toes should move like our fingers. And if they, again, are compressed all the time, they tend to not have that full mobility. So it's a beautiful teacher to work with. So next one with the toes, we're going to start to peel them off one at a time. So big toe, second, third, fourth, fifth. And then little toe, second, third, fourth, big toe. Just do that a few times. So you're just watching the feet. Because if you're not watching, you don't know what's going on. So just keeping an eye on the feet and the toes. Perfect. And then bringing that back down. Excellent. We're going to do some ankle rotations. And this is also a really nice one for the hip as well. It's a really minimal movement. I'm not putting much pressure at all onto that right foot. It's actually really, really light. So I'm rolling around the ball of the right foot. And as I roll around, I'm separating toes as they come down, getting some circulation through the knee, but also through the hip joint as well. Change direction. And of course, in your own time, you can spend as long as you want on these. Once you get to know, you don't need a video, you just do it in your own time. It's pretty simple. What part of the body's next? That's exactly it. And make it your own as well.
So if you feel something hurt more, do you do that? Or if it feels different, do you do that more?
Yeah, just to spend some time on it. So the most important thing is not to change feet, is not to ever move into pain. Pain is not good. So pain is generally described by like sharpness or electric. Does that make sense? Yeah, if it's a differentiation. Uncomfort or discomfort is perfect, that's great. And if we're finding any areas that are rigid and sticky, we want to work on them more. So this is a practice of bringing in smoothness and suppleness. So change direction. Especially when we get to the actual joint rotations, like in the hips and the knees and things like that as well, we're really looking for that smoothness into the joint. Now this next one, you can always hold onto a wall, or practicing balance, we're going to stand on the right foot, and we're going to slowly rotate the ankle joint of the left, but trying to make it as smooth as possible. So you're watching your ankle, and this is where we can see if we are using shoes a lot, then this will be quite rigid. I know when I first started this, it was really clunky. It's just not used to rotating through the ankle joint. So we want to try to smooth it out as much as possible and keep it slow. And again, you can always hold onto a wall, change direction. So trying to get as big as a rotation as you can around that ankle joint. Like you're drawing a circle with your toes. Perfect. There's a nice little introduction to starting just bouncing as well. So changing sides, soft knee bend in the standing leg, and then just moving around that ankle joint as smooth as possible. Change direction. Notice if any other areas of the body tense up too, like the fists or the shoulders or the face. Perfect. So give them a little bit of a shake out here. We're going to now warm up into the knees. Now if the knees there's any real stuckness going on there with the knees, just keep the circles really little like this. But if not, bring the feet a little bit closer together, place a fist between the knees. And then with that, we then start to do some circles. So you just slowly stirring a pot with your knees. Almost like you're riding a bull. So you're squeezing the fist, and again, if this is too low for you, just come up a little bit, it's totally fine. Again, in time and practice, some people might be able to go lower, and it's not about how deep we can go into this. But it's just trying to get that movement and synovial fluid moving around the joint. And again, look for a sense of smoothness. So I'm also getting into the feet here a lot. So I'm rolling into the balls of the feet and back into the heels. Change fists and change direction. So notice every single part of the body that's getting some benefit from this. Is that as I come forward, I'm rolling into the toes and backwards into the calcaneus, into the heel. Again, if this is a sticky area for you, maybe, always feel free to spend more time as well. So from the knees, taking it up into the hips, and this is like a slow hula hoop. So it's literally like this really nice movement through the hips. We've got to keep the knees soft, and the hips are going around in a circle. So we're finding this really nice circular motion with the hips. Should feel pretty good. I think everyone loves this one. Yeah. And it gives us a really good indication of a couple of areas in our body. So our lower back, our hips, and our hamstrings. So we're rolling through here. Yeah, so there's quite a few areas here that you can be like, oh, I'm noticing that's a bit tight. So this is I try to do this every day. Even in the coffee line, I'll do like little hip circles. Change direction. So again, the size of the hip circle is completely up to you. And you're gripping down with your feet too. There's a good grip going on here. And that's just allowing me to really find like my range with this. Also start to heat up the body now that we come into these bigger movements, which is really beautiful. It's a really nice thing to do. Perfect. So talking of heating up the body, we're now going to move in this lateral direction. So the feet go a little wider and we bend into the right knee and we slowly draw a circle with our hips like a donut. So we're moving down through a squat and then up through the balls of the feet if we can. And again, the depth of this one completely up to the individual. So again, if the knees are tight, don't go too low. But if you're feeling good, this can go right deep into a full squat and up and over. And you can really start to generate some strength-based work into this and balance. But it's always about listening to your body. Change direction. So again, a really nice little warm up for the feet too. Really just paying attention if you can come up onto the balls of the foot through this, but absolutely not essential. Perfect. Coming back to center, we'll just go a figure of 8 with the hips. This is probably one of my favorite. So feet are nice and wide, and we start to soften the knees and try to get our pelvis moving in a figure of 8 fashion. It can be pretty challenging. So you can actually feel this mincing of the digestive system. So we're actually really working through here as well. So it's a really nice one to do in the morning. It doesn't matter if it doesn't happen straight away. So you're just thinking of this slow figure of 8. And the shoulders will possibly also roll with that. So you get this really nice, very subtle shoulder roll as well. You'll get compression onto the sides of the waist. Now I'm going to mess with your head a little bit. We're going to change direction. Again, I definitely find this direction quite challenging, so I try to practice this way more. Because I know that it's hard for my brain to figure this out, but that's perfect. It's what we want to do. Really nice. And it's a really nice one for the knees as well. So the knees are getting this beautiful, like little circular motion as well. Coming up to stand. So we're going to now work through the sternum. So when we're working through the sternum, I'm going to be pushing the feet stay grounded, the hips are grounded, and I'm going to work through pushing my sternum forward and then pulling my sternum back. So I'm separating the bones of the chest and the scapula draws together, and then I'm rounding like an angry cat, but the shoulders aren't lifting. So I'm pushing forward, yeah, it's a difficult one, and then pulling back. So just using the sternum only and pushing back through here. So forward, open, and pull back. Beautiful, nice. And this is one of the ones that I think in the world we live in is so necessary. Using devices, computers and stuff like this, we never work through this area. And it just feels amazing. It feels so good to move the torso and all of these sort of upper bones, rib cage in this direction. So similar sort of thing, we're now working this area, same area. This stays grounded and we're going to try to slide the torso side to side. Yeah, same, nice. So yeah, the shoulders stay super level. They're not particularly doing this. We're just trying to slide the rib cage. And the legs are pretty stable. And again, it's still very much a work in practice for myself as well, this one. When I first started this, trying to actually segment this part, I was like, how do I actually do that? So, and again, when you do this on your own, feel free to spend a little bit more time with that. But we're going to combine the two of those. So we're going to go around in a circle. Again, soft knees, hips are stable. I push the sternum forward. Then I go to the right, pull the sternum, and go to the left. So sternum forward, to the right, back, and to the left. So it's this circular motion. And you're just doing the best you can here. No right or wrong. So you're stirring a pot now with your torso. Really gripping down with your feet. This should feel pretty amazing. Again, it's not about nailing it at all. There's no finish point, there's no end point. Change direction. Just moving, shoulders are staying nice and level. Legs are strong. And again, your arms don't have to copy what mine's doing. If you feel comfortable with your arms wherever, then let that be. Oh, nice. So from here, just some shoulders. Again, shoulders are super important. We use them a lot through our day. So we're going to create a figure of 8. So with the right arm, we're just creating some sort of a figure of 8. So the hand brushes by the thighs every time. And we want to, in time, when this feels a bit more comfortable, you can add speed and get a little bit more blood down to the fingertips. And you'll notice that my whole body is actually starting to move here, right down to my toes. So I'm getting a really nice twist in the spine. And we're going to pause and we're going to change direction. Same arm, but reversing the direction. Absolutely. Yeah, so have a think, yes, Amy, that's it. So really think about how this works. Well done, getting it first time, good job. And again, with this one as well, don't worry if you don't get it first time, that's what the video's for. It's really, with this stuff, a lot of it, monkey see, monkey do. It's repetition and practice. Good job, shake it out, well done. So let's change sides. So forward first, it's nice and light. Letting the body just flow into this one. And again, if you have a shoulder injury, you can still do this. I can still keep it really little. And with that, we're neurally sending a message to the shoulder to go, this is okay. Eventually in time, it will start to get a little bit bigger. But you don't push it. You've got a shoulder injury, keep it little. All right, we're going to change direction. So have a think about it and reverse it. This feels really nice because we're opening the shoulder. Again, in the world we live in, we have a very closed shoulder. We're always with the arms forward, whether we're sitting or on our devices or stress. So this feels really nice to open the front of the chest. 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. Lastly, we're going to do some spinal waves. So when we do our spinal waves, soft knees, and we're just going to try our best to roll through the spine. So we start from the knees, then the pubic bone, belly, chest, chin. Knees, pubic bone, belly, chest, chin. And again, it doesn't matter if this is like this to start. Just do your best. But these should feel amazing. And again, you just go to the depth that suits you. We'll go one more. I like to finish with a bit of breath work. So with this one, the depth of this is completely up to you. It's an exhale, we come into a squat, and an inhale open, and we add a bit of speed and pace. So exhale, breathe out, and an inhale open. And this is just to get the heart rate firing a little bit, to open the shoulders, open the chest. The depth of the squat, completely up to you. And same with open the chest. You can stay here, or if the back bend is up for you, you can too. We'll go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then just take a moment and stand and take 3 deep breaths to finish. Really nice time to come into gratitude for your body, to say thank you, to set your day. And thank yourself for putting yourself first. And then go about your day. Breathe in. And breathe out. Nice.